Airports are the very basis that link our worlds closer together. They bring amazing connectivity from all over the world, they boost the local economy, and can be considered to be the cornerstone of our modern transportation system. But what happens when an airport is built based on poor planning and estimations, and was plagued by government policies throughout its existence? The Montreal Mirabel Airport is one such example. What was once planned to be the busiest airport in the country is now an infrastructure white elephant that doesn't even serve a single passenger. So the question becomes, what happened to the Mirabel Airport? In the 1960s, the city of Montreal went through a period of great economic boom. The Expo brought the city into international spotlight, and new infrastructures such as the Montreal metro system were being built in the city. The city's main airport, Deauville International, was starting to get overwhelmed with passengers and cargo. With a projected 10% increase of traffic year over year, the government authorized Transportation Canada to scout for potential locations to build a new and modern airport for the city. The agency decided on Vaudreuil-Dorion, a suburb about 30 minutes away from downtown Montreal. It already had a significant land and rail infrastructure and is close to both Montreal and Ottawa. At the time, Vaudreuil-Dorion seemed like the perfect place for the city's next airport, but due to provincial and federal politics, Quebec's then premier, Robert Bourassa, didn't want such an important project to be built so close to the Ontario border, so the site was rejected and the plan was put on the back burner. Despite the politics, the city still needed a new airport. So, in 1969, both the federal and provincial government reached an agreement on the site of the city's future airport, and they chose to build it in Mirabel. While this doesn't seem like a bad choice at first sight, the proposed airport will be located nowhere near the city's downtown area and doesn't have the existing infrastructure to support an airport of that size. To mitigate this problem, the government planned to build a high-speed rail system and new highways to better connect the future airport to Montreal. And with that in mind, the government started to buy up farmland in the city, and construction soon went underway. The new Mirabel Airport was designed to handle 20 million passengers each year with 6 terminals and 6 runways. The government was really optimistic about the future of this airport and even bought enough land for future expansion. At the time of construction, it was the largest airport in the world by area. By 1975, one terminal was completed and the airport was opened to the public just in time for the 1976 Montreal Summer Olympics. And to attract airlines to the new airport, the government mandated all international arrivals and departures to be moved to Mirabel, while domestic and US connections remained at Montreal-Deauville, with plans to move them at a later undetermined date. So far, it seems that the airport was a success, but it couldn't be further from the truth. The new Mirabel Airport had 2 major problems. For one, it is very far away from the city. It sits on the very edge of the greater Montreal area, and it takes about an hour to get to the airport by car on a good day with minimum traffic. And the new highway and high-speed train that would help to mitigate this problem was never built due to the lack of funding. So the airport was plagued by poor infrastructure throughout its existence. This extreme distance from the city also made the airport very unpopular with Montrealers. For them, there's a perfectly good airport only 20 minutes away, and the need to commute an hour away from the city just to go on an international flight didn't sit well with a lot of people. Another major problem the new airport faced was the development of new longer distance aircrafts. In the 1970s, airplanes had a greater range than ever before, and airlines simply don't need to stop in Montreal to refuel before their transatlantic flight. And with that, stopping in Montreal simply became economically unviable. Since Montreal's air connection is essentially split between 2 airports, connecting flights required an hour's commute by bus or by car, and airlines saw this as a major disadvantage. With a longer-ranged aircraft, they can simply land in Toronto Pearson and enjoy a much simpler connection instead. By 1991, Toronto Pearson was handling around 18 million passengers yearly, while Montreal Dorval and Mirabel combined had only 8 million passengers. Just a quick recap, Mirabel was designed to handle 20 million passengers yearly by 1985. With the decrease in passenger volume and the growing unpopularity of the airport, the government finally caved in. Mirabel Airport was once again allowed international flights, and that was considered the final blow to the Mirabel Airport. Passenger volume declined rapidly after that, and in 2004, the airport saw its last commercial passenger flight. Today, the Mirabel Airport is very much a shadow of what it could have been. The passenger terminal was demolished in 2014, and the airport is now being used as a cargo airport. The Mirabel Airport could have been a great success if the government chose the original location or have actually developed the rapid transits between the airport and the downtown core, or didn't half-ass the transfer of airlines to the new airport. It was mistakes after mistakes by decision makers that led to the failure of the airport. It is now an infrastructure white elephant that forever serves as a cautionary tale of how not to develop a state-of-the-art airport. Hey folks, thanks for watching yet another video. Please consider to like and subscribe. As always, this is the Transportation Channel, and I will see you next time.